Alright, a quick run on my end to make sure this actually works. So give me a second. You will hear reverb, and after this, hopefully I will not have to mess with the settings anymore. But I've got to wait for Twitch to actually load my live stream. That'd be helpful. No, I'm not hosting anybody. I'm live right now. Come on, Twitch. There you go. There you go. You can do it. There we go. Alright, cool. So, basically what I did in order to fix the problem was, I made a new scene in OBS, and then I copy-pasted everything, all the sources, everything like that, and didn't change anything, and now it works. So, basically I fixed it by changing things, but keeping them exactly the same, which is a very roundabout way of saying, I have no clue why it's deciding to work now. But it is, and that's the important thing. So, let's get back to the game. I'm going to turn my volume down low, but I still want to be able to hear the audio on my end. Alright. That should be good at volume where it will not echo or anything like that, but now that the audio is fixed, I guess we're good. I did also additionally add that little thing at the very top that says type in !rules in chat, so if anybody pops in, you can direct them to that and get a basic idea of how this coin flip run works. So, with that being said, let's get started, officially, with the endgame of Part 2, Alencia's Gambit. In my opinion, this is probably like one of, not counting the endgame of Part 4, which is the very end of the game, this is like in the top 5 for sure, and possibly even 3 for hardest stages. If this is like your first time playing the game, even on easy, this one can give you a bit of trouble. So, now that I remember what that Killer Lance is for, it's to give to Marcy at the start of the stage. Units that will be allowed to have at the beginning of the stage are going to be Alencia, Mordecai, Braum, Nephany, and then Marcy will show up. And that's going to be it until Kieran and Danvid show up, so it's going to be kind of rough, to say the least. Basically, Braum and Nephany are going to be carrying almost all of this. So, let's go ahead and get started. All the other prep has been done. Let's do it. Get it right. There you go. Alright, it begins. One thing I do want to do, though, is because I had them on showing off how the animations looked last time, but I'm going to keep that off for this run. Alright, that's first turn down. So basically my strategy for the stage is because you have two options on how to complete this. Either one, you can survive the 15 turns without losing that capture point up there that's glowing green, or you can try to kill the boss. And if you kill the boss, the stage just ends right then and there. Now if you're playing on easy, you could probably kill the boss. Normal and hard, I would just wait out the 15 turns, because it's not going to be simple. Not by a long shot. So what I'm going to try to do is get Nephany down to that door that those guys just attacked as soon as I can, and so she can stop them from pouring in on the right. Braum will go to that staircase to stop them from pouring in on the left. The difficulty is definitely going to be the issue with there being a small amount of units that I can control, because normally I have Har down there by the gate, along with Nephany sometimes. Braum will guard this staircase along with a lot of other people that can use range and throw from the top of the staircase. And then a bunch of people guarding this little area where these soldiers are right now because they can throw things down here. The obvious issue here is going to be making absolutely sure that the archers don't kill my units. Movement is 9, correct? Yes. Thanks to Alencia not having the frickin' slim sword and actually having a very strong weapon and a meaty, she has the capability to do incredibly well. But if pretty much anything hits her, along with Marcia, that is a bow, a crossbow, whatever, at that point, she's pretty much done. If that happens, it's going to do like upwards of 60 damage, and it's going to be a bad day for everybody involved. So if I can keep the archers from getting to the Pegasus Knights, they can be useful, but that's going to be the issue, is watching out for them. I'm going to let the ally units, by and large, do what they want here. Typically they do okay. Not phenomenal, but okay. And since they've broken through that door, I'm going to try to get Nefni down to the spot to the right of Mordecai, where that archer is right now. And then try to cut them off at that section, which I've not done before, but it looks like it could work relatively well. So we'll see how that goes. I'm not too worried about the mages, all things considered, when it comes to the Pegasus Knights, because typically Pegasus Knights don't have, like, phenomenal resistance, but it's better than most units. A couple of these guys do have longbows like that, so I'm going to have to watch for them. At this point, I'm just going to hold here and let Nefni guard as best as she can. In terms of my targets for making the other units go after other players, I'm going to try to knock out the heavily armed units the most, because all the ally units you get, with the exception of the mage that has ranged attacks, all do physical damage. Nice shot. So they're going to have the most difficulty in overcoming the HP difficulty, because they wouldn't be able to do as much. But if I keep stuff like Myrmidons and mages alive, if they hit, they're going to do more damage. Alright, good, good. That's exactly what I need. That pretty much secures the right-hand side, provided I don't lose Nefni. But as long as I am careful, then that shouldn't be an issue. Now I've got to get the left-hand side blocked off, and that's usually a bit harder, because I try to get there with Braum, but you can only move so fast. So I know some more people will come up the center, but if I can block off the well, then I can just clear out everything that's there, and just keep the defensive line. Nice. That's the other issue too, is they might corner Braum, and I'm not worried about him dying, but then that might stop him from being able to get to where he needs to go. So getting those criticals early on is very helpful. Yeah, see, they just blocked him off right there by using that range. Alright, so I need to get Braum there. Now, of course. Alright, well, plan B. As long as she can get the double attack from a meaty being enough to kill him, then usually you're alright with just that. And again, I'm just going to focus on staying healed. I believe you get an ally healer somewhere in here. I don't know where he is. I think he's at the very top. Hopefully he'll jump down. I'm not worried about that one soldier causing any issues, though. Well, especially not if that happens. No, I guess we don't have one, or he didn't do anything, or he might be programmed to not move and just has like a ranged ability, and if he doesn't have anybody within range that he can heal, he just won't do anything. It's entirely possible. The issue with the ally units... Ooh, that was close. The issue with the ally units that you might run into now is sometimes they basically get what I like to call too big for their britches syndrome, where if you, like, for example, if I kill the unit in front of Braum, this guy right here, and then it switches to the ally's turn, the ally might move here, and then he'll promptly get slaughtered, so you may not end up with too many of them. Yeah, he is just gonna hang out right there. Well, since I want him closer to the battle, what I'm gonna do is use direct and have them all target, because it doesn't really matter where they stand right now, so I'm gonna have them all move here, and then I'll probably change that back next round. Actually, I might want to heal with her, so let me think twice on that. Does this give you experience? It does. Alright, well, we'll go ahead and use it for now then. I wish I had just like an herb to use here rather than using a vulnerary. I feel like a vulnerary is kind of a waste. I think we're in a decent spot, so I'm going to do this just in case like a dumb critical happens. I don't think it will, but it could. Keep in mind though, whenever you tell enemy units, whenever you tell ally units to target a section like this, they will not perform any action such as attacking, healing, whatever. They specifically move to the spot. This is a pretty good stage to get Braum experience, though, so that's worth something. Because he will show up again in Part 3, so... if you do like using generals, he's probably going to be your best bet in the game. I know some people prefer Gotri, who will show up in Part 3, and a lot of people don't prefer Torneo because he takes up big breaks. You don't see him until Part 3, but you only get him for certain missions, and you have to be very careful in those missions. He says not trying to spoil anything, even though this is not spoiler-free. So yeah, you can have them halt where they don't do anything, and they won't attack target. We'll move them to a certain area, and then avoid. We'll just tell them to avoid the enemy. Rome is the only time that they will actually choose to attack somebody. I am going to set the target back to Rome, though, because now I've got... where'd he go? Oh, he's right there. He does have a range. Yeah, he does have a range thing. But that will put him close enough, hopefully, to where he can actually heal. In the meantime, I'll just get my gauge back and some experience. I'll take out the bowgun. Alright, that looks decent enough. Oh yeah, I guess they could also fire from there as well. I didn't even think about that. I know there is a unit somewhere down here that has the skill Nullify that you can pick up if you defeat him, which basically cancels any special bonuses, so anything like armored units being weak to like Hammer or Micaiah's Thawny, anything like that will get removed. The Pegasus Knights won't be weak to bows and arrows. If you can pick it up, I'd recommend doing so, because it can be pretty useful. It's not the best skill in the world just because of how much it costs, but if you've got a really good character that their only flaw is they're specifically weak to one type of thing, then you could stick it on them and basically make them not invincible, but more so than they were. Yeah, it's this guy down here. Alright, in that case, I'm going to start attacking him. Wow, those are some really bad accuracies for longbows. I mean, I know the longbow's not great in this game, but they are snipers, or at least archers, so they should be better than that. I'm trying to figure out what to do with Mordecai. So now that we got the area kind of locked down, I really don't need him for that much. I think we'll shift him, just make him take less damage, and just keep slowly chipping away at this guy for the time being. Yeah, go ahead and do it. Yeah, that's what I was hoping for. I really do not like relying on the ally units to heal you. Yeah, Naz's gonna get too big for his britches. He's gonna kill the healer, but he's gonna be in some serious trouble next round. Alright, there's Nullify. That obviously does count as a terrain difference, so you will do not more damage, but you'll have much better accuracy than the guy trying to hit you from below. So you at least have that. And yep, there goes the archer. He died as he lived, doing something he probably shouldn't have. Also, if Braum gets poisoned, unless he's, like, consistently getting to really low health, don't worry about it too much. And here are the Crimean Royal Knights. Geoffrey, Geoffrey, oh Geoffrey. And yes, that is how you pronounce his name. It is not Jeffrey. It is actually said by the narrator in the prequel of this game, and I know for a fact it is Geoffrey. Jeffrey rolls off the tongue way better, but yes, it is Geoffrey. All I'm going to do with the Royal Knights, normally you would use these guys to basically run down here, knock these guys out, and then group up here to go attack the boss. But since A, I only have 2 of the Royal Knights that I'm using, because normally you would want to use Kieran and Joffrey, who either in this battle or the previous one would probably be a Silver Knight if you were playing on easy. And you might even get Kieran to Gold Knight at that point, depending on how well you manage your units. Then you'd have them come in and kind of help Alencia to kill this guy. If Alencia attacks him with Amidi, she can kill him in one round, particularly if she gets stun. But you also have to be very careful because what he uses for a weapon is very strong. So he's got a good chance of beating you if you don't beat him immediately. Not quite. I think I'll just heal this round. I'm actually not gonna lie, I'm rather surprised at how easy the stage is without Har. I thought it'd be a lot harder, no pun intended. I thought it'd be a lot more difficult to block off this right side, but if you just look for the right spot, I never thought to actually block it off on this section. I figured I'd have to go back a little bit farther, but not the case. Because I figured if I had to block it off about where the healer's standing, my healer is, or where Alencia's standing, I'd have to basically block off those 2 corners as well as the top, and it'd be really difficult, but really I only need 2 places that I have to keep the line. Also, it's good to see that A, the giant amount of allies you had in Joffrey's charge has now been reduced to 2, and that B, they're completely useless. Is that our guy gonna attack Braum from where he was? Yep, there he goes. Again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Yeah, I'd rather not risk that. I'll just do this. Alright, meanwhile down here, let's see if we can get these guys out. There's one. I'm just gonna hold the line here and hope that works. That might be one way to lure this guy. Let's try doing this. That might lure this guy to go over here and try to fire, and then I can get him. Because if you want to get the guys to the Lombos, you can. You just have to kind of make use of the Kanto ability, where you basically fly down and kill them at close range, and then just have enough movement left to get back. Because if not, they're just going to swarm you with archers and kill you. But if you can get back, then it's worth using that ability. Also, yeah, that Crimean Knight's toast. Yep. There's the other one. That's another reason I wanted to hold the line back there at the Crimea Knights. I didn't want to get them surrounded, because then they definitely would have been in trouble. Alright, that brings him up to 10, correct? Nice. And a good level, too. Sure enough, he fell for the trap. Switch back to this and just keep healing. Oh, that's why he did so much damage. I thought he was using a sword, and I was like, he did a lot of damage for having the weapon triangle in his disadvantage and everything. Let's weaken him up a little bit. Oh, no, we can just kill him right out. Alright, that's cool. That's cool. That works. Words are hard. Oh, nice. I knew there was a guy who dropped an energy drop somewhere in here, but I didn't think it was that guy. I'm just going to stick with the Steel Great Lance. And just keep healing. Are any of the 4, technically 5, but I doubt this guy will do it. Remaining knights can be stupid enough to go and walk to their death. Oh, he didn't even get damaged by it. Okay. If I shift, will he suddenly just take more damage from it? Yeah, he will. It's based on your might? Oh, okay. So, since the might increased, that's why it's enough to do 1. Instead of nothing. I guess that makes sense. You enjoy that Silver Great Lance. That's going to be much too heavy for you to be able to wield effectively. Oh, they're going to send two goats out there to die. Alright. Would anybody care to place a bet? How many of the ally units are going to be alive at the end of this? Something tells me it's not going to be very many. And for reference's sake, if you would care to place a bet, this is turn 11 of 15. Alright, there's that turn down. Nah, don't heal him. Just let him die. He doesn't know what he's doing. He thinks he does, but he didn't have a clue. Like, with the setup I have until I either ran out of weapons or ran out of healing items, I could hold for as long as I wanted to. And I guarantee with how the allies' movement is, they would be dead well before I would be. Alright, there's one of the soldiers. Or one of the knights, rather. He may be poisoned, but he can still kill them. Or not. I don't know if I want to be taking that much damage. I think I'm not going to do that. Oh yeah, that was actually a good idea for him to do that. That last soldier just ran straight for the corner, though. That's a rookie mistake in any sort of... Yeah. He probably had hammer to get him in one shot, but still. Well, that healer might die too if he gets too close like that. Alright, so it looks like Nefne's back in the driver's seat for person holding out that corner. Though really, there was no doubt that she was going to be the one that was going to have to do it. I gotta assume that guy had hammer for his weapon. There's no way he could have... Yeah, okay, I was about to say, he might be class change, but there's no way he could have done that much damage without it. Fire away. Please tell me he's me. Nope, he's not me smart enough to move. Alright. Dude, I'm the one that's supposed to get criticals. I got the killer weapon. You're not supposed to be getting those. But really, it's not too bad here. All I gotta do is this. No, not quite. Alright, let's try going for it. Nice. Nice. Well, since I have the ability to right now, let's go ahead and get one of the larger guys out. Can the red team manage to take over the capture point in 2 turns? The answer is no, but they could force me to reset if they killed one of my units in 2 turns. That's really the only way they could here. Actually, did almost get an Ephany on that round, but we're still good. Oh, nice. I don't even know what level he's at. I would assume he was like at least at A. Yeah, I'm curious. What was his weapon level? Yeah, it's at S. Nice. Alright, left side should be good now. I could have sworn I gave her another javelin. I guess not. It probably got used up in the previous battle. That's likely what happened. Oh well. Get at least one more level before the fight ends here. Normally I've got her at like level 10 starting this level if you play on easy. You get so much more experience for playing on easy though. Oh, this guy never moved. Alright, so final toll is there's 3 left. One mage that never decided to move after I forced him to start moving and then stopped. The healer who still walked into danger a couple times, and then this guy that was actually smart enough to hang back and let me do the heavy lifting. Yep, there you go. That's the end of the stage. In all seriousness, let's try that again. In all seriousness, though, if you are gonna try to kill the boss in the stage, even on easy, like, you should probably battle save on this one because it can be rough. You have to be incredibly careful in where you place your units and when you decide to take the offensive move. This is the first stage that will really, really make you play defensively, even on easy. You'll have to. Yeah! So excited to watch the hanging. Of course, back in the day, stuff like this was quite literally just entertainment for them. I love this scene right here. Not because how epic it is, just the dialogue here, so I'll be quiet for it.
Come on, do it. It's a clean shot. What's the problem?
I'm nervous. What have I hit her?
It's too late for nerves, Ruff. If you're not up to it, just leave it to the master, eh? Watch and learn. One clean motion. No hesitation.
Such a good line right there. You mean man? There's one. All right, now there's more than one. All right.
Sorry. Always lost in your book. What have I said about watching your back?
I love that line. Don't let a single one escape, and then you have Titania just going around slaughtering just one after the other. Boy just flies in and just knocks like at least 7 of them down. Oscar's just running through them, just picking them off one by one with his lance by getting them in the neck. It's like, yes, clearly that's... You want to make sure you don't let any escape, because you've clearly got control here. You throw those rocks.
Hold on, Lucy. Everything will be fine. You're safe now. Can you hear me? Hold on.
I'm not sure who they were throwing the rocks at, because like some of them were throwing rocks, and then like here, where they could have tried to attack the healers and Lucia, they don't. So like they were like super excited about the hanging, and then everyone just kind of stood still when the Grail mercenaries got there. They're not really sure what they want, I guess. So in case you're wondering, yep, here's the big man himself, Mr. Ike Poo. So yeah, Bash knew about Ludwig's plan before he left. He guessed that if he left the country, the rebels would feel confident enough to make the move, so that's why he hired the Grail mercenaries. And from now on, Lucy will no longer have her long hair. She'll have the short hair like that for the rest of the game. there's also something about Day and Throws Rush we can't afford to look. The Black Knight. Surprise, Ike, he's still alive. Of course, they never found the Black Knight from the previous game. And that's just kind of a general rule of thumb for any RPGs. Unless you find the body, pretty good chance they're still alive. Like, at least 50-50. Sometimes you just literally don't ever see them again, but if it's a big character, the more important the character, the more likely it is they're still alive if you just never see the body.
A great war begins, one that threatens to tear the land asunder. A hero sides with the Lagoons and justice. The Maiden of Dawn fights for the Bjork and Dayan. Their armies will collide, while the flames of the medallion burn brighter. Part 3 intersects.
Ugh, part 3. Part 3 is so long. They give it like, I don't even want to remember how many parts there are to 13. There's a lot of them, though. It's insane. And unfortunately, a lot of the stages just kind of, they're honestly not that memorable. There's a few in there, but most of them are just like, yeah, there's this stage. I completely forgot it was here. But if you ask people to, like, you know, tell you which map is which, like, part 1, it's pretty, you know, like, the tutorial level you can get, the one right after, you could put those in a row. This, you couldn't, and not because there's so many. It's just like, oh, this was the 3rd one? I thought it was the 5th one, and so on and so forth.
The Queen and scrabble for power. Disgusted with their greed and arrogance thanks to their efforts and to Queen.
Current Mercenaries 4, looking exactly the same as it did before. Again, we're mostly skipping story here. If you want to actually hear the story, then, honestly, I guess I can go ahead and spoil this now for anybody. If you want to know the story about this game, obviously you have to know stuff about the prequel. If you want to know the story of the prequel, after Icarus is done with Star Fox Adventures, which might actually end up being tomorrow, depending. I still have to do my run-through, so I know how to guide her through it if necessary. It'll either be done this week or a week from now, and I'm actually having her do Path of Radiance next, so you can get a little bit more information about the story there. In the meantime, though, basically the story at this point is now Benyon and the Laguz tribe, at least the Beast Laguz tribe, Gallia, have decided to go to war. Due to a lot of issues of, like, you know, people getting murdered or the Laguz getting murdered in Benyon and people covering it up saying it didn't happen, basically sparks, you know, a little bit of flames of madness, shall we say, and thus the war's begun. And so as a result, because Ike and Renewal for they're not big friends, but they are buddies from the previous war, Ike offers to help. And so that's why they're here now. In the meantime, though, we've got to get the Part 3 units ready, so give me a moment while I switch some things around. First and foremost, let's move this to Part 3 units. I do have a document with all the units of Part 1 that I'm allowed to use, and so I'm keeping that open. I'm opening up the Word document right now. Word's very slow. There we go. And it's just a list of the characters that I can use. No, actually it's not. This is just a full list of everybody. Well, I can remember who I was allowed to use. But I'll keep that list on file, and I'll have the ones that I can use marked green, and the ones that I can't marked red. There we go. Oop. Forgot one. There we go. Switch that to a different color. Here's a list of characters I can use. Let's switch to red. And that should be all of them. Let's save that. And now I can clean up these, and we can actually start moving on to part 3. So for the time being, let's keep these both empty, and then we will get started on figuring out who we can use. Because all the Lord units are required to complete the game and they cannot die, Ike will automatically be usable for this playthrough. Particularly in his case, because the only person that can actually land the finishing blow to kill the final boss is Ike, so therefore it would be impossible regardless. And now it is time to begin the almighty coin flips of destiny, starting with Titania. Titania will be usable, which is going to be kind of interesting, because typically I actually don't use her. She was a pre-promote in Path of Radiance, and I'm still not a big fan of her now. In fact, I might look up what the general Wikia says on her character in terms of useful. Yeah. So overall, Titania is a powerful paladin, and her main weaknesses comes from her mediocre defenses. And yeah, her growth rates for defenses are not very good. Her lowest growth rate is magic, obviously, then followed by defense and then resistance afterwards. Interesting. Alright, moving on. Who is next on the list? Soren. Nuts. I was really hoping I would get him for playable. He's usually my mage of choice, and is definitely my mage of choice for Path of Radiance, because he is pretty dang good. Not getting missed either. She's not as vital in this game as she is in Path of Radiance, though, and that's namely due to the fight with the Black Knight where she's available. Rolf is also not available. Great. I was really hoping I could have Rolf. Maybe I'll get lucky and get Shinna. As long as I can get at least one archer, but the problem is I didn't get Leonardo and I didn't get Rolf here either, so if I don't get Shinna, then I don't have any archers for the entire game except for, well, no, not even Astrid. Unless I, like, class change somebody and they get bows for their ability. That's the only way. Though right now it is appearing to favor the axe users. And it's giving me another character I don't honestly care for that much. No luck with using Oscar either, and again, I'm not a big fan of him in this game, compared to Path of Radiance especially. I like him a lot in Path of Radiance. In terms of growth, he does pretty well, but this game, not as much. I'm curious as to what it says for his bio. Yeah, this is for Path of Radiance, not for Radiant Dawn. Oscar has some key flaws that hold him back from his true potential. Lances tend to be geared towards fighting sword generals and sword masters, neither of which Oscar can effectively defeat in one round, either due to not having enough strength or speed. Titania joins at the same time, can promote earlier, and deal with horseback and wyverns better than he can, thus he tends to fall in the shadows of her. His speed can give better luck against armored units and inflict more damage. He can also attack the opponent while staying off the front lines if need be. His stats are okay, meaning that he can still be used to a degree of success when trained correctly. He has low defenses as well, has trouble against axe users due to gaining bows, which don't turn the tides against that unit. Not the most consistent unit. Compared to the other trained gold silver knights, he's the most frail with the second lowest defense growth and lowest resistance growth. His speed and skill dwarfs that of characters like Kieran, however. He has higher speed and luck than Geoffrey, but slightly lower HP and much lower strength and resistance. He's a representation of the Green Cavalier in the classic Cain and Abel archetype, i.e. Abel, and he excels in speed, skill, and luck growths. So yeah, not too terribly great in this game. Which is a shame, because in Path of Radiance, this might say something else, but I think he's pretty dang good. Yeah, because this one, the first line is, combines good bases, solid growth rates in most key areas, great availability, a good weapon type, and all the utility offered by mounted class all into one package. And when he promotes, you can also pick axes, so you don't have to deal with that issue that it mentioned earlier. So needless to say, he's a little bit better there. Nope, I'm not going to get any archers this playthrough. Wow. Alright, 2 more to choose from. Oh, we got Mia at least, so that's something. Don't let me keep on exactly the same line. So we actually ended up in favor of getting more units than not. By technically 1, since Ike was required. But unfortunately, the ones that are usable are typically not the ones I would pick. If I had to pick the units that I'd want, I'd take Ike, Soren, Rolf, Shinnon, and Mia. And maybe Gotri. But I typically would not take Titania or Boyd at all. And I would likely not take Reese either, but gotta do what you gotta do. Alright, enough spamming the coin flip in chat. Let's actually figure out what we're gonna do here in terms of items. I'm just gonna throw everything in the convoy for the characters I can't use right now. Because there's actually no shop in this stage, so then we'll just divvy up things where necessary. Because you actually don't get a full set of vulneraries for everybody, which is kind of dumb. But that's one of the few advantages to doing this style of fighting. I'm going to give the concoction to Godfrey because he doesn't need... Reese doesn't need that much of a healing item. Alright, so that's Reese, Mia, Godfrey, Boyd... Yeah, so we actually ended up with just enough of everybody getting a vulnerary. Alright, so we've got some lances, some bows, and some healing stuff. That's obviously going to go to him. Lances are obviously going to go here. I forgot what the other thing was. Can't use that. Some spells. Alright, so that's pretty much all we can do right now. No XP. I guess we can move around skills. That's true. I didn't think about that. Which really, Adept's probably the only one that would be worth writing home about here. I'll keep counter on Titania for now, but let it be known I don't think this skill is good at all. It causes enemy to receive half the damage it deals to this unit. The problem is, your unit has to receive damage in order to deal half of that damage back, so it's basically inviting you to try and take damage in order to use that, and I don't recommend that at all. So I think what I'm going to stick with is putting Adept on... I'm going to go with Mia. I'm gonna put Miracle on her as well, because she's probably the most frail of everybody I got. And Provoke I'm gonna leave off of anybody right now. So I think we'll leave it as that. That looks pretty good. Alright. Stage 1 of Part 3. Honestly, this stage is not hard at all, and looking at the map, it's not hard to see why. Because they give you a bunch of other units. And these guys, if left to their own devices, will just go up, here, up, there, kill the boss here, and then end the stage. So really, if you don't want to, you don't have to do anything in this stage at all. I think that's everybody I've got usable. Ike, Titania, Boyd, Gotri, Reese, and Mia. Yep, alright, looks good. Let's go beat up some dudes. I wish there was a way to, like, if you had units on stage that you didn't want them to take the turn, you could just auto-end it without actually having to go to that character, but oh well. Granted, that wouldn't be useful for typical normal playthroughs, because once you get to a certain point, if you don't want to use a character, you just wouldn't take them into the level. But for things like this, and you know, again, towards the start of the game, that can be an issue if you've, like, if you already played through Path of Radiance, and you're on the second stage of the game where you've got Ike, Boyd, Oscar, and Titania, and you really don't want to use Boyd or Titania, you can just, you know, have it be Ike and Oscar only, and basically, you know, once they've done everything they can do in the stage, like visiting the houses and whatnot, just if you move Ike and Oscar, it just automatically ends the turn, just something like that. But I can also see how that might screw somebody over, potentially, because maybe the character's still highlighted or something like that. There's no icon above their head, and somebody thinks, oh yeah, I still got a couple characters I can move if this person gets put in a bad spot. And then that character does, and the turn automatically ends, then you just get shafted by it. So really, by and large, it's pretty much one of those good idea in theory, not so great in execution, unless it's executed very carefully. Alright, let's have a look here. Usually in these first couple stages, it's not that hard to kill enemies. All you really need to do is focus on weapon triangle. So me and Ike for the axe users, Boyd and Titania for the lance users, and Gotri and typically Oscar, even though he's not here. Well, he's down there. Oscar and Gotri for the sword units. And really, you know, like, your mage can pick off anybody. He's not very strong yet, but once he class changes, he definitely is. Your archers can pick off anybody, etc. Also, let it be known that Ike's resistance is not good compared to his defense, so be careful when fighting mages, because he actually will take a pretty decent amount of damage if he does get hit. Just a little side note there. It feels so weird using Reese here. Oh, of course he went down there. Well, now I gotta go and save those guys. I can rescue with Oscar or something until I can get down there. This is also why I'm not a big fan of this level, is just having to wait on all these other units. And the worst part is, typically, unless you're playing on easy, you're not going to be rushing, and they will get there before you, and they'll start clogging up the area. Like that last area where the boss is, it's really hard to get the boss kill. He does drop his weapon. I think it's a crossbow. It's a crossbow type of weapon. It might just straight up be called a crossbow. But regardless, if you don't actually manage to kill him... Speaking of which... If you don't actually manage to kill him, then the crossbow item that he drops should end up in your inventory. I don't remember if Ike gets it or if it just ends up in the convoy, but somebody will get it. Well, thanks for the coin, I guess. They do obviously throw some fire mages here in case you were curious about what the beast lagoos were weak to, in case you hadn't figured it out already. They do also stick some ballista on the left in case you want to try and help the lagoos, but honestly, unless you just really want experience for your archers and there's too many units that you're using that are clogged up on the left side and you're just not getting the experience you want, really don't waste your time trying to get it that way. If you are going to fire, though, then try to go for the mages or the archers, because you're going to do more damage to them. Because you want to try to get the killing shot. The problem is that's very hard to do, because typically, if an enemy gets hit once by another unit, if it's their turn, they're liable to get hit again, and that's usually enough to take them out. Like, even these big armored unit guys here, after 2 different attacks, they almost got put down, so... That is something you'll have to watch for. Also, there's no real difference between the killer and the steel axe at this point. I would go with killer axe if you're trying to go for experience. But if it's a surefire thing that you're going to kill him either way, then just go with the steel axe. See if I can get some more characters into view here that I can attack. Yeah, there's one. You do want to try to get Ike to level 20 as fast as you can. You're not, like, super pressed for it in normal or really even easy either, but... Regardless, you do want to get there before Part 3 ends. And again, you've got plenty of time to do that. But if you're going to go for all characters, there is a point where Ike can potentially fight the Black Knight in a stage called River Crossing. And I say potentially fight like he has a chance, but because he doesn't have Ragnell, the legendary sword, and he's not class changed at that point, it's pretty much a suicide run, and the only way you can fight him and survive is by having completely maxed out speed, so that's why you'd want to be at level 20. If you're not, I think there's a couple speed wings you can get throughout Part 3 that would get you the boost up to where you need to be. But if you want to have that conversation in order to get to that final character, you're going to have to be really careful. If you have anything lower than max speed, he'll double attack you in one round, and that will probably be the death of Ike. Unless you got insanely lucky and he missed somehow. But the chances of that are, if your speed's low, the chances of him missing are not going to be you know, it's gonna be like 90+%, like the chances of him hitting, that is, so don't expect it to happen if that is the case. I'm probably not gonna be able to get Boyd back in time to do anything worthwhile, but we'll see. I do have range. Alright, that works. Or you could miss. That works too. Oh, there's actually a couple mages there. I might be in trouble. Yeah, these mages in the early stages, they hit really hard. Okay, that looked cool. And again, like a lot of the units in Part 3, really the only true downside to Mia at the start of using her is her strength just isn't very good. And I think, if I remember correctly, in terms of stat growth, she has the lowest strength gain of any of the swordsman units, but she counteracts that by having, like, insane growths in speed and skill. Like, she will most definitely cap all of her speed and skill stats by the end of each of her class tiers. So she'll have it down by Swordmaster, she'll have it down by Trueblade for sure. Is nobody gonna kill that big dude just hang out in the center there? Oh, don't kill him. That would have been an easy kill for Ike there. Really, for anybody. So how's everybody doing this Friday night? I'm actually quite curious. I'm willing to bet most people that are in university or high school or whatever is probably super excited for MLK Day this coming Monday. Gotta have that nice 3-day weekend, right? It's gonna be wonderful. Or is wonderful, rather. I'm not even sure what I'm gonna do with it today. I'll probably just work on editing stuff, to be honest, but I guess I'll find out when the time comes. That's worth a try. He actually has pretty decent magic starting out. I forgot about that. No, I don't think I'm going to worry about it. I think I'm just going to move here and not waste the healing item. That was more thinking, am I going to get a chance to actually get somebody next round, or is are the Lagoos just going to pretty much tear up the rest of the map, but I think they're probably going to tear up the rest of the map. At least enough to where those guys in the corner can't actually move if they survive. Yeah, pretty much anything Skirmir touches at this point in the game is going to die. Just like that episode of Fairly Odd Parents with Timmy's mom trying to make a garden. Everything she touches dies. Yeah, nobody can even get in close now. If I had a wind edge, I could attack that guy, but sadly nobody on the Grim Mercenary starts with one. If Mia did, I'd probably take it off of Mia and give it to Ike, honestly, at least at the start. Oh, so congrats on killing that one enemy, Mr. Boss Man. Proud of you. And of course, nobody wants to keep the healer alive, a la Overwatch. Not that they're wrong. See, this is the problem, too. They blocked so much of the area off, I can't even get to the boss to attack him. I actually can't reach him from there. Because I'd have to stand here, but I can't. So at this point, can't really do anything but wait. Good shot. They want me to kill him, or Skirmir just going to go in and destroy him? No, Skirmir's going to go in and destroy him. Wow, he actually took 2 hits. Barely. And there you go. That's the end of it. You have to take another turn away for him to arrive, but... I kept my team of 6 fully healed at the end. I guess that's something? Not really, but, you know. You might as well. If you got 3 heal stabs at the start, you might as well abuse it for some extra experience. Yep, guards are dead and the rest of the troops fled to east. We're in shape. Sweet. Yeah, they do give you experience for friendly army fought a little, but it's not enough to... You'd be better off if they weren't there. Alright, which stage is this? Because again, I'm so bad about keeping track of which one's which. Because we might go ahead and do one more stage for the night. Doesn't look like there's anybody new here. I don't particularly care about the coin. Now we're just adding experience. You know, the whole dog and pony show at this point. Nothing incredibly special here. But we got some leftover experience, so that's something, I guess. And then they talk about balance of power versus accuracy. Which I tend to lean towards the accuracy side more, but you do have to have enough power to at least damage your enemies. So, something. Though really, if you needed a tutorial on that by the time you got to part 3, and you've already played, like, almost 20 stages, then, I'm impressed you managed to get that far. You've probably lost several units along the way. Is this the night? Yeah, maybe? Yes? No? Yeah, it is. Okay. That took me a second. I could not figure it out. This stage is actually kind of hard on normal. This one forces you to play a little quickly, and I really don't like that. Some supports will show up here for guards, so you'll have to watch out for that. I'm going to have Leith and Lyre target in this corner, but later on I'll have them move freely. Or I could hit wait, sure. The point is I want them there. Well, after that script, I was gonna send Ike, like, here or here to block off this section. But, since that's not really an option right now... Get down there. There you go. I'll just make sure that Reese can't get hit. And leave it at that. That could have gone way better. Good grief, look at those skills activate. It's crazy, I love it. Mia's like fantastic. She activates skills so frequently. Like, even if you don't like her low power, she's good just for that alone. If you just deck her out in skills, she'll be able to pull off some insane stuff. Like, if you use that Vantage Adept and then combine it with, like, a Brave weapon, she'll do some insane damage, even if they attack you first. Actually, no, I think I'd rather use heal. Alright, so I think the plan, what I'm going to do is have these two clear out this area and then go up. I'll have Ika go across to get this and then go up. And these two will kind of just, or these three will guard off this area. And we'll see how it goes. Man, I really wish I had a ranged weapon for him. Oh well. No, I think I'd rather heal this round. Forgot that Archer was there. I might actually lose Reese here. Which means I'd have to reset. Which I'm kind of okay with since I had that screw up with Ike. Yeah. That was a really bad mistake on my part. The archers will mess you up really bad in this stage, and not even for Reese, too. Like, I've had him kill Ike before, I've had him kill Rolf or Shinnon before, I've had him get Soren multiple times. So you really gotta watch for him. In fact, this is one of, like, the few stages in the game where a boss actually uses a killer weapon for his weapon of choice. So even he's not great, but, you know, enough to where you have to watch out for it. Try flipping the script here and moving to here. Man, we're probably better off the high crit. Of course, now knowing that archer is going to cause trouble, I might just go and try to kill him. If I've got the speed for it, I should try. Yeah, let's just get him out. I know there's a guy with a longbow up there, and I know he'll attack Ike, but that's okay. The longbows are not good in this game. They weren't even that great in Path of Radiance either. Which, again, I know for anybody that actually knows their history, that sounds like it's complete crap, because it was, at one point in time, a very good weapon, but in this game, not so much. Its power gets dropped, probably because it can attack from 3 squares instead of 2. Also, that was dumb. And completely unfair, but whatever. So its powers drop, so it's not as strong as the bow. Its accuracy gets sent to the toilet, despite being used by one of the classes that's known for having high skill and speed to be able to use weapons like that effectively. Its stats are usually in the toilet in terms of accuracy. So it's not as strong, and it's not as accurate, and it's not as durable. The only upside is it can attack from 3 squares instead of 2. And honestly, that's not really enough of a plus to... It's not enough good to make up for what's bad. It's just not. Okay, I gotta know, did that guy actually have a killing edge, or did he just get, like, really stupid lucky? He did have a killing edge, okay. Well, that makes me feel a little bit better then. Alright, let's see if we can have that not happen again. That would be preferable. I figured that guy was going to go for Ike, but I guess not. Speaking of people going after Ike. Really? Alright, now I'm glad I battle saved. And before you ask, no, longbows do not have good critical rate chances. They're usually abysmal. Even when in the hands of snipers, they're usually... Like, even your snipers, they're usually 0 or single digit, so... Let's try that again without that guy getting a critical. Let's try it here. I know that puts Boyd in a bad spot, though. Because he's going to get attacked by that guy for sure. He might get attacked by that guy. Well, at least he missed, so that's something. Yeah, that would be more what I would expect to happen. And critical, right? Nope, he didn't even get it that time. I'm telling you, those criticals, they're the worst sometimes. Like, you always get them when you don't need them, but the AI, they'll pull it off, like, right when they need it. Oh, whoop-de-doo. I wish we could have switched enemies right there. Mia could have taken that guy out, no problem. Alright, now that that's solved, and hopefully staying that way for at least one round, yeah, go for that guy. I don't think it matters who that guy will attack. I think he'll be dead no matter what. Might as well go after the bigger fish. Because there's always a bigger fish. Always. Yep, there goes that guy. I'm gonna have to be very careful with how I play up there, so I'm gonna start here. Speaking of not being careful, somebody's now throwing things on the ground. Alright, let's see. He's gonna be the big issue. Unless I can just oust him right here. No, I didn't think so. But I need all three players down here attacking this set, because these three have to go this round. Alright, let's just hope nobody can get to Reese that can actually kill him. Because I think, yep, that's all the characters that can move. Oh, this is going to be bad. I got a bad feeling about this. That's also not going to help. Oh good, reinforcements. I'm glad those are there. Oh man, I don't know where I want to send Boyd now. I don't know if I want to keep him here or send him that way. I feel like I should almost send him that way. Actually, no, I should probably leave him towards start, just in case things go haywire there. I'm gonna battle save this anyway. This is a stage you have to play very carefully. It doesn't look like it's a hard stage, but you have to be very careful here. Yeah, I'm gonna keep Boyd there for when those reinforcements come in. Oh, I thought I got that guy there. Thankfully, Thunder Mages have notoriously bad accuracy when compared to the other two types. Alright, free roam there. Nice, good, that's what I wanted. Alright, I'm gonna battle save here. I know the chances of him hitting twice are low, but it's also Fire Emblem, so yeah. It was pretty much a given one of those was going to connect. As for you, that guy's ranged, will equip range and then just heal. And we'll see what he does. He's probably going to move here and attack Ike, if I had to guess. That's what I would do. But in the meantime, Leith and Lyre will kill this guy. And there should be more back reinforcements, I don't think. As in reinforcements that appear in the start. I don't care if the big dudes come up against Gotcha, he can handle those fine. Oh, there's the range. That's why he didn't move. Oh, there are more here. Okay. Really hoping she was going to dodge that. I might have actually lost just now. Well, especially if you're going to split your attacks like that, you should have at least committed to one of the guys that was already injured. I am honestly shocked that no one died that round. I'm shocked enough to where I'm going to battle save, because I don't think that's going to happen again. And unlike these two, I'm not going to be dumb and split my attacks up. I'm going to go after the same... Or I'm going to go after the weakened players. 65, 65, 60... Yeah, it didn't matter then. Great Lance. There we go. Alright, he's out. Already battle saved at the start of this turn. Alright. I'm gonna put one of them here. And heal. I'm gonna put the other one here. Actually, I'm gonna put him back one. Put her back one and heal. So she didn't get attacked by range as much, or there's not as many spots as where she can get attacked by range units. Alright, thankfully that guy's dead. When did subhumans learn to wield swords? Impossible, I can't believe my eyes. Ike just screws them and says you've underestimated them. Nice. As if he totally is a subhuman, even though he's not. Also, I do appreciate the irony of Ike getting that critical. Because that guy actually has a killer lance. Like, he uses a killing weapon and then didn't get the kill. Ugh. I am not in a great spot right here. Really, though, if I can make a choice, I know what I'm going to do, because Archer's got to die. I can live with the guy with the little pokey stick over here, but the archers are going to cause problems if they stay alive, so they have to go first. Which is weird, because in the old school games, usually they cause, like, a lot of problems, but in this one, not so much. I don't think anybody's going to come back, but on the off chance they do... Also, don't worry, I was reading your comment. I was just in a really, really bad spot in that map. There was a couple turns ago where I legit probably should have died. And I got lucky and like 5 different people attacked me and they somehow all missed. I have no clue how they did, but somehow they did not succeed. Yeah, I think this is the last dude. Let's see. Might as well give it to Ike. And I think that's the last guy? No, it's not the last guy. Is there somebody like hanging out over here? That's not good. Where are they? They up here? Yeah, what are you doing up there, boy? I wonder if he actually moves or not. Because he should have moved when I got closer. Yeah, that looks like it's just a cheap trick to stop you from succeeding in the map because you don't know he's there. Get out of here. That better be the last guy. What do you think you're doing with me? That was dumb. Whatever. Just hides in the corner like, if I stay here long enough, backup will arrive. What a jackass. Anyway, to answer your question, long story short is, I actually switched majors. The short version of that story. The long story is, honestly, I didn't have any issue with being a teacher in terms of, like, having difficulties teaching. The problem was with the workload that came up during this week that I'd have to be doing during the semester. I think I actually have it written down somewhere. Of all the stuff I would have had to do, and I just simply did not have time for it. So give me a second here. No, I've got it written down somewhere. Somebody asked me about it. Oh wait, that's too far. There we go. Alright, so in short, and this is what I would have had to do. In the clinical teaching, I basically would have gotten put in a teaching job. Like, straight up, I would have done everything for those 14 weeks. So I would have been doing, like, all the paperwork, all the interaction with the students, the parents, the principal, going to any of the meetings. That includes, like, the meetings for the special ed students, which are called ARDS meetings, and working on their, like, individualized plans and how things changes there. I'd have to do all the grading, I would have to do all the lesson plans, and for all that stuff, I would not get paid anything. It's basically a temp job and only for experience and not for pay. So on top of that, I would be doing another job because I actually, you know, need to have things like food, gas, etc. I would still have online work for my classes because even though clinical teaching is mostly out there, you still have online work you have to submit for your classes. And the classes meet Wednesday night, so on Wednesdays, you're getting up at about 6:30 at the school from about 7:45 to roughly 4:30 in the afternoon, then going to class from 5 to 8, and all of that is with no pay. So basically you can't work Wednesday at all and actually make anything off of it. Obviously I've been looking for a place to move into after university, so we've got that on top of everything. A bunch of family stuff going on because my 91-year-old uncle's in the hospital and's got like maybe a couple weeks left to live because he broke a vertebra that should have killed him on impact and somehow did not. I don't know how that managed to happen, but it did. I don't think I have the picture anymore. I might still have it, actually. No, I do still have it. Okay. Let's see if I can find how to change this around on OBS so I can show this picture. I had to replace my shower door recently because it randomly exploded, which I will show a picture of shortly when I get the chance to. Just don't remember how to do it. Because I had to redo my entire scene for this in order to get the audio to work, so now I'm trying to remember where it is. I think it's just window capture. No. There we go. That is what happened to my bathroom door randomly, and I know it wasn't anything like on the shelves and what have you, because there's nothing heavy enough that could have broken a glass door. I know it wasn't an animal, because the door's locked, so there's no animal that could have gotten in. No one broke into our house, and if they did, they broke into our house specifically to break that one glass thing and then leave. And I know it wasn't my parents because I know for a fact that they were not in the house all day. So what could have broken it? I have absolutely no idea. But it's stupid that it happened. But yeah, no clue what could have busted that at all. So obviously had to pay for that, had to pay for like getting a new shower curtain and all that, because that's what I ended up doing. And then on top of that, during the classes on Friday, like you'd expect in like senior level classes, like this is the last thing you do before you graduate. So everyone's like gonna be early 20s mostly, like anywhere between roughly 20 to 23, and with a few people older because, you know, they were going to college later and have kids. And it was a complete and utter madhouse. Like, aside from throwing things at each other, it was pretty much how you would expect like a third grade class to ask or to act if they had no guidance whatsoever. Like the teacher left the room and they just started getting into a giant verbal argument, and it was ridiculous. And so it was at that point that I said, you know, I probably could deal with all that, but dealing with all that with no pay on top of one thing, because I do need the money, and just not being in a good environment, it's like, an environment like that is one that I cannot physically function in. Like, I will literally just shut down if, like, there gets to be a huge argument, because it wasn't just my class, it was also the middle school and elementary people. So, my class is 16, multiply that by about 3. So you're talking like almost 50 students, it might actually be 50, all just yelling and screaming at each other the entire time. And granted, classes normally aren't that large, individual ones are usually about half of that. But if I want to do teaching, like, I already work at the Health Science Center for one of my jobs, and I get to teach med students there, and I don't have a diploma for it. I can tutor without having a diploma for it. So can I make it a job? Yes, but honestly, it's just simply not in the cards for me to be able to handle a job, basically a full job without pay, a second job, family life, additional college work, forget any free time that I wanted to have. And so I switched to something that should have me graduate at the end of this year. So, like, still be a teacher, still go for it, just don't try to graduate at my university. Because, like, the teacher in charge, keep in mind, this is a teacher that is teaching a class on how to teach effectively, and he can't keep the class in line. So, like, that should tell you something right there. And, like, it was literally, I don't hardly ever quit on anything, especially not when it's that close to being done. But it was definitely jarring enough to where I got up, had a conversation with that teacher for about 10 minutes afterwards, and then went straight to go change my major, because that was the last day I could, like, edit classes and whatnot, because they only give you a week for some reason. It was that bad of an experience. I mean, it was awful. Like, I was probably about, well, I can't actually show it, but, like, I was going to do, like, a this close where you're holding it where it's, like, a centimeter. I was about that close from having, like, a full-blown panic attack, and I never get those at all. But it was just not good. And I don't know. If I was going to teach, I would teach in, like, a small classroom. I would make it a pretty big thing, like, don't raise your voice, have respect for other people. And I can manage that and foster that in my classroom, but just too much going on in my life right now to basically take on another job and not even get paid for it, on top of classes and everything else. So that's why I did what I did. It was a mess. So now that that's all over, I think now it's going to be a lot better. I've got 12 hours this semester, a summer class that I've got to take, and then 11 hours, and then I'll be done. And that's going to give me more room for personal life. That'll give me more room to take care of my family if something comes up, because it is my family, so it will. It'll give me more time for hobbies, more time for friends, more time for getting classwork done, which I'm sure my professors would appreciate. So it's just, like, I basically had to figure out that it wasn't due to teaching specifically, but just due to my personal environment. It was not something I was going to be able to function in. It was not something I was going to be able to excel in. It was definitely not something I was going to be able to learn in any capacity. And so I basically had to make a choice that was not easy, but A, I've had to make worse choices before. And B, like, you have to know your own limitations. And as bad as it is for, like, financial and whatnot, sometimes you just have to know when to take yourself out of a situation that, beyond that you're not comfortable in, like one that you don't feel physically safe in. If you don't feel safe in a situation, and you don't feel like you're going to achieve and accomplish what you need to, due to a limitation like that, then you just need to get yourself out of that. And trust me, I know from personal experience, I've dealt with issues like that before, where I stayed in situations for longer than I should have, and I should have just realized that was a situation that I shouldn't be in, whether it was one I put myself in or not, and should have just moved to something else. I'm not saying quit when it gets hard, but you do need to know your own physical limitations, and you shouldn't have to sacrifice. In my case, it would be sacrificing things like, if I was out there at the school and, like, I get a call and my mom's suddenly dead, I have to stay there for the rest of the day still. I can't leave. It's stuff like that, you know, stuff that you hear from, like, when people have to work at companies and they have really dumb policies on things like, you know, if there's any emergencies. Because emergencies in my family are very common, as everybody already knows. So it was situations like that where I just knew full well it was not a good place for me to stay in, and that's why I decided not to stay there. I probably won't need this, but I'm taking it anyway. In terms of, like, actual work, though, like, the work itself is not the issue, it's the flexibility that's the issue. Because, like, even if I have to do 12 hours of class and, like, catch up on a week's worth of class, like, that's fine. I can make time for that. But if, like, if my 7:30 to 4:30 block, Monday through Friday, every single day, is not available for me to do anything, not work, not do homework, nothing like that, then it's going to be pretty much impossible for me to actually float, much less swim. I should probably get rid of that vulnerary. Alright, so we gave him range. She needs at least one more axe, if not two. Luckily, axes are pretty cheap. Let's see. He should be fine. I should probably get him a vulnerary. In fact, you know what? I'll do this. That's probably the best bet. She should be good with that. He should be fine. Should be good. Should probably get at least one more axe for him, because the killer axe and hand axe both are about to break. So basically a couple more axes. That silver card that the game just gave me, that is an item that will eventually disappear from your inventory, but for a while it makes every item in the shop half price, and in the armory. So, while you have it, buy a lot of things. Yeah, go ahead and do that. Yeah. We'll do this, and then I'm going to take his iron axe and swap that out for a hand axe. And I'll just go ahead and give the iron axe to Titania, in case I need something with really good accuracy. Alright, that looks pretty decent as it is. I'm gonna go ahead and put, since they were from parts 1 and 2, Ilyana was from 1, and Nephne, Braum, Heather, and Har were all from part 2, I am gonna go ahead and add them back onto the list of units that's on screen. Again, I still have that entire document here, but it would make more sense to have them on screen now since they're units that are playable. I'm gonna have to figure out how to move some stuff around, though, because you get a lot of units in part 3. When I get to part 4, just as a forewarning, at that point, I'm probably just going to have the units that are usable on screen only and not have any of the unusable ones. I'm probably going to make it 2 columns of lists of units that I can use. That'll probably be what I end up doing. Just as a forewarning. So if we get to that point, you're like, hey, where's this character on your list? It just means that they're not playable. But for now, we're not going to worry about that. So Har, Heather were not, and Ilion was not. As for green, Daphne and Bromware. Alright. So now that we're caught up on that. Oh yeah, I guess it makes sense these guys would be able to get supports because they've just been hanging around each other in the corners thus far. Let me check and see how long I've been streaming for. 1 hour, 53 minutes. I kind of do and don't want to do another stage. You know what? I'll see what the stage is, and if I feel like I want to save it for next time, then we'll save it for next time. Because I've never gotten the privilege of rating one of John's streams, so I'd like the opportunity to do that. Oh, this one. I forgot about this stage. I thought this was a couple chapters later. Of course, I said this earlier. It's so hard to pinpoint where each of these falls specifically in the first half of this area. It's so weird. Alright. This one probably won't take that long, because this one's actually not very difficult. I'm putting that in air quotes. It doesn't take very long. It's a really weirdly crafted stage. Like, really weird. Okay, let me make sure I got this right. Ike, Titania, Boyd, Gotri, Reese can come back in, Mia, Daphne, and Braum. That should be it. Yep, okay. But the victories defeat the boss, and he's down here. But, like, this section up here, you pretty much don't have to touch. You could pretty much just go straight down this line, and then go here, because the boss moves, and just get right there where the boss is, and then have a couple people attack him. It's a really weird map. There's really no map like this one in this game. And that's probably for the best, because again, it's really awkward. So that being said, because it is a shorter map, we're going to go ahead and give it a try. I think called Storm Clouds. I thought Storm Clouds was a different name for it too. I kind of remember the names, but I just cannot remember the order. Alright, well, now that that weirdness is out of the way. Nice, you use that counter ability that's completely worthless. Show him who's boss. And let's go ahead and take that guy out. And now it's time to go back to a very tried and true strategy. It's an oldie, but a goodie. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to form the wall. The most basic, simplistic Fire Emblem strategy ever designed, yet still to this day one of the most effective. It is literally just sticking a wall that no one can get past. Unless they can fly, but in this case, since there is nobody, not that big of an issue. Alright, so his magic's already capped. I don't know what his HP caps at. I don't use Reese very often, so I'm trying to remember what he caps at for Bishop and whatever else he class changes into after that. In fact, I think I'm going to look that up, because I genuinely do not remember. I've used every character in this game before, twice, But it has been a long time since I played as Reese. Hey, almost killed Lloyd there. So for reference's sake, I can give this a differentiation between Path of Radiance. After I'm done with this thing, I don't want to be reading and trying to move at the same time. That's going to be messing me up very violently. I'll keep Titania kind of close to the back here in case there's some more people that try to get in the way. They try to pull a Diary of Jane and just something's getting in the way. What is he using? Axe? Alright, so sword. Well, that's not really an option right now. I was really hoping he'd get the critical there. Alright, whatever. There's like nothing else down here that can... Well, there's a mage, but I think that's all that can reach him. And that knight down there, but I think he'll be alright. Okay, good. Speed and strength, that's probably what I want. So Reese's categorization from the Fire Emblem fandom in Path of Radiance. His role as the only early game healer is a difficult one to oversell. There aren't even any further options until Mist joins in Chapter 9. Even when this happens, some players might elect to use Reese anyway. Cool, thanks for the critical. I'm going to continue reading this anyway. At least for a period of time due to Mist's poor base stats and staff rank. Once Mist begins to catch up in levels, promoting and gaining a mount in the process, Reese begins to fall off. However, even in mid and late game, he may still find a niche in using status stabs that Mist may not have the rank for yet. Like most healers, he's not a good combat unit, big surprise there. While he does technically gain light upon promoting, and I think he's the only character in the game that does in Path of Radiance, this rarely does much for him, and there's a good chance that the player won't promote Reese at all unless a Master Seal is used on him. He should never see frontline use due to his low speed and bulk. He can hold his own against magical enemies due to his high resistance, but there's no reason for him to confront them in the first place. That's true. But in Radiant Dawn, Reese will become playable as a second-tier bishop class, and once he is promoted, he can potentially be one of 3 possible saint characters the player may obtain. Although there are several characters in Radiant Dawn who utilize light magic, Reese is still valuable as both a healer and a light user. In both bases and growths, he excels in magic, resistance, and luck. Which, yeah, with magic being a 65% growth rate, luck being 60, and res being 75. That really doesn't give much, like, one way or the other if he's actually good or not. Which is kind of odd. Honestly, in this game, I think your best healers are your mages that promote and get the ability to use stabs. And that's usually pretty late, but, like, I'm talking, like, Micaiah, Soren, any of those are usually really good picks for doing that. It's just, you get that incredibly late. So in Part 3, like, I would say use Mist and Reese when you need to, but if you just find that they're not going to really fit into your team anywhere and you don't want to use them anymore, it's not the end of the world. It's really not. I'm trying to get as many people to get their first level up from getting from 99 to 100 here. As quickly as I can, whether they have to pick them off at a range, attack but not kill, whatever it is. course, even if they threw a ranged weapon and missed, that's still one experience, so that would be enough. Alright. Dude, those friggin' mages, they're so obnoxious. It's because his resistance is so low, though. It starts at 7. Like, if you did find a talisman early, I would immediately say give it to Ike. Like, it gets better. It does get better. But, man, it is a very substantial difference in how much damage mages do to him versus any unit that uses physical attacks. No, we already learned from that mistake last time. There we go, that's what I wanted to see. Alright. Also, since I mentioned it earlier about Icarus playing Path of Radiance once she's done with Star Fox Adventures, I'm going to try to remember to do it, but when we do get new units, I'm going to either give, like, my interpretation of how the unit's gone for me, or try to read from that wiki on, like, what that character excels or doesn't excel in. Obviously, what character she uses ultimately will be up to her, but... Because the wiki and I don't always agree, because the wiki says that Jill's not a very good unit in Path of Radiance, if I remember correctly, and I think she's actually pretty good. But it also says, like, Nephne is insanely good through the entire way, and I think she's good, but only once she class changes, because she's really frail at the start of Path of Radiance. Which makes sense, since she's been, you know, locked in a jail cell as a prisoner of war. So really that shouldn't come as a shock, but either way. Oh, I thought that was enough to get him out. Say there better not be anybody down here. But yeah, you can win this stage in as fast as like 5-6 turns. It's pretty crazy. I'm not gonna try to like speedrun it or anything, but I'm gonna go relatively quick. Okay, so you have range. In that case, short axe, vulnerary. And we'll just leave you there. I am going to start moving characters towards that section, but do bear in mind that some, I think, Thunder Mages and a bow user come up that line down there in the corner, so be prepared for that. I usually actually send this group anyway. I usually send the 2 Knight or General, whatever unit you want to call them. I usually send those units down there, and then the remainders over here. So Nephne, Mia, Boyd, Reese, in this case. And really, I'm just leaving Titania up here to A, make sure nothing sneaks up behind me, and B, to just get some extra experience by clearing out enemies that nobody else will be near. Normally I have Har do this. I can have him just like fly around the map and kill everything. He'll usually class change on this this board, in fact. Alright, I am going to battle save here. I don't think this boss specializes in like anything with a critical. No, just a short axe. Well, that's nothing special. In fact, yeah, I think I'm going to try to end the fight next round, so I'm going to move everybody else over here in case I need to get some additional damage in. But since he uses a short axe, let's switch to this. Alright, show me what you got, boss. I am Istvan. Congratulations. I'm glad you have, like... Yeah, it's weird. It's like he has a mullet, but there's nothing on top. So I guess it is still business up front, party in the back, because usually, like, bald's not considered, like, a goofy or informal or whatever you want to use, whatever term you want to use. Hairdo. Yeah, there they... Oh, no, it's Wyvern Riders. Okay. Well, I'm gonna get in my chance to get some damage in here, because these guys are pretty weak to magic. So give me a chance for some experience here. Get that guy out of the way. Alright, let's see how much Ike can do by himself, because if he can take this guy out on his own... No, not quite. Okay, there we go. That'll work. Yeah, he's got 99. So he's definitely going to hit. Okay. So now that the fight's basically over, yes, it did end that quickly. Yeah, I guess we could try to go for... Well, no, even double criticals wouldn't matter. No, I guess double criticals would work. But what about this? I said we try to gamble on that. I feel like that's a better gamble. Yeah, there we go. Because then you'll only have to hit one critical out of 4 instead of 2 out of 2. And there you go. Map over. There's a recover staff you can pick up from one of the healers by defeating him. But outside of that, I don't think there's anything like particularly memorable about this map. Other than it's just really weird. That's pretty much it. It's just a weird map. And as Soren says, their soldiers were well equipped and well trained, but their commanders were terrible. Yeah, they were kind of just all over the place and didn't really have any sort of, you know, idea of what they were doing. More likely than not, you'll probably get a turn bonus for that stage. It's pretty easy to clear quickly. Really, if you wanted to, if you're playing on easy, you could probably just fly Har straight at the boss and get him within, like, maybe even 4 turns. You could probably get him in 4 turns. I think you could. I'd be curious to see what, like, the fastest turn clear is for each stage, possibly. What the fastest possible one is. I'm sure somebody's done that. And I think everybody's still good on items. Probably because the level was over in no time at all. Ooh, that would be nice to have, but it's 8,000. I actually don't remember what that skill does. I think it's pretty bad, if I remember correctly. But I'm gonna check it out and make sure. Oh, yeah, no, it's not very good. Flourish. When activated, this skill allows its user to attack with half of his or her original power. So it's basically designed to weaken enemies without killing them, so the lower level characters have the chance to get the kill and get the experience. There's a skill like this later on called Mercy that always leaves them at 1, and that's better to have, but even then, Flourish is not that great, so don't even bother with it. But I think I still had, yeah, that. And I think I'll go ahead and sell Provoke as well, which means I don't have to sell that much to get to, yeah. There you go. That's enough for the Draco Shield. Because that actually will come in handy. Yep. Send it in the convoy for later when I need the extra defense. I'm kind of just distributing things where I feel like the characters need it most. So mostly like the low-level ones, Titania's close to a class change. Obviously Ike every time to make sure he gets to 20. Got to take these off with some of the characters. Pass and cancel. Pass could actually come in handy for Ike, so I think I will stick that on him. As for cancel, a lot of people could use that effectively in theory. I'll go with Nephany. She usually does pretty well in skill department, so that should work. No, he can't combine with Mia. So I'll have to do for now. Alright, with that being said, let's go raid somebody, and I already know who to raid. Because I have not had the privilege of raiding a Proton John stream before, so we're going to do it. I'm curious as to what he's playing. I just got done earlier watching him play, not here, but on his archive page. I was watching him play in the second Clue tournament. So that was cool. Why am I seeing... Oh, right, there's a second one of these coming out. I totally forgot they were doing another Death Day movie. I was supposed to say, why am I seeing this? But whatever. Alright. Let's raid Sir John, shall we? Thank you guys for coming out tonight very, very much. In the meantime, though, as a quick reminder, I will be streaming Star Fox Adventures with Icarus at about somewhere between 5 to 6:30 tomorrow, and dropping things on the ground. No, we might actually finish up the game. So, that being said, thank you all for watching. I don't know where that thing... Oh, there he is. I was supposed to say, I don't know where that went, and that was a liquid that I don't want dropping over things. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Later.